Now, if we went ahead and just made a quick plot of those two vertices, let's say if you had 3, -5, and 3, 1, you know it's vertical. Okay, so those are your vertices, so we know your graph is going to go through those points. So we know the center is going to be right between those two. And again, you can use the midpoint formula. You can do the eyeball test where you say, okay, this goes from -5 to 1. It goes from -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1. Nope, should be just 6. I don't know how I counted 7. But it should be 6. You divide that by 2. You know that's going to be 3. Or A equals 3, rather. 3, -2. Okay, so if we go up 3, we'll be at 3, -2. If we go down 3, we'll be at 3, -2. Or like I said, if you want to use the midpoint, remember x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Which gives you 6 divided by 2, which is 3, and -4 divided by 2, which is -2. Okay, so we know our center is 3, -2. All right. Any questions on that so far? All right. Okay. So now we have our h and our k. So if we wanted to get our formula, which is what we're looking for, actually I should have probably wrote this first, since as soon as we figured out it was vertical. You know, it's y minus k squared over a squared minus x minus h squared over b squared equals 1. Okay. So we know we're going to have to find our h and our k, which we already did. We're going to have to find our a, which we already did. And we're going to have to find our b. Okay. All right, so we know that your asymptotes, when they're vertical, is the formula y minus k equals plus or minus a over b x minus h. Okay, so that's our general formula. Okay. Thing is, they gave us our asymptotes. We can actually use those two to find our b. Okay, so the first one, y equals 2x minus 8, we can just factor out a 2 and make that y equals 2x minus 4. And y equals -2x plus 4, we can make that y equals -2 x minus 2. All right, so if we match these up to be our plus and our minus, we know that, where is it? Here we go. That a over b is equal to +2, which means -a over b is just -2. Okay. Now for that one, we already have our A, which means if we plug in our A, we can just solve for B. Okay. So since A is equal to 3, that makes that 3 over B equals 2. And negative 3 over B is negative 2. So if we multiply both sides by B, then divide by 2, that gives us B equals positive or negative 3 over 2, or just B equals 3 over 2. Because once you divide by negative, it becomes positive anyway. Okay, so we have our A equals 3 and B equals 2. B equals 3 over 2. Okay. So really all we have to do is just plug it in. So y minus k, and our k is negative 2. And that would be squared over a squared, which our a is, 3 squared, minus, move that over just a hair, x minus h. So our h is equal to 3 over b squared, which is 3 over 2 squared, is equal to 1. Or sometimes you can leave it like that, and sometimes they'll kind of trip you up a little bit. And the reason why is because you can have the y plus 2 squared, that's not the tricky part, over 9 minus x minus 3 squared. 3 over 2 squared is 9 over 4. So instead of 9 over 4, which I'll put it here, the tricky part is sometimes they'll put that as 4 over 9. And that's because if you multiply this by 4 over 9 and 4 over 9, the denominator just becomes 1. So this is usually the answer that you will need, either one of these, but it is possible they will try to trip you up like that. So if they show it and you know you did everything right and say, okay, why isn't this showing as the right answer? That's because at some point they may have it as y plus 2 squared, clean that up a little bit, over 9 minus x minus 3. See all that room I wasted up there? 4x minus 3 over 9 equals 1. Actually, probably should give that a little more space there. So this is one of those, it's possible it could look like this, even though it's not likely that that's how they would want it. But this is just a possible answer form. Okay, so it could look like any of those, depending on what exactly they're asking for. All right, so any questions on that one? All right. So like I said, it's kind of hard to do an example of every one you will see because they could give you, we would literally be up here doing 2.5 hours worth of examples. So it all depends on what they give you and using them to find what they're asking for. All right, so any questions? All right, so actually that is it for